Hello everyone, it's Jennifer and thank you for joining me today. We are going to be putting together a quick, easy bracelet using some beads from the Petal Palette. Petal Palette is the latest Treasure Edition Bead Box from Potomac Beads. If you want to see the box contents in its entirety, please check out the link below, as well as I have some other links there for the Potomac Beads YouTube channel, which is incredible, their website, and how you can get your own subscription if you're not a subscriber. For this project, we are going to be using some of the seed beads, and then they're in a gorgeous white color. You can't see them because they're in a white tray. Yes, these trays came with the bead box this month. I love how they toss in, when I say they, Potomac Beads, how they toss in additional little tools and trinkets. And one month we did get a tape measure, which I absolutely love. I keep it right here handy. We're also going to be using some of the 5mm Czech glass faceted rounds and some of the light tanzanite AB finish. These are the little tiny 2mm rounds. To bring it all together, I am going to be using some beading wire, and I'm using some soft flex beading wire. We're also going to be using some 2x2 crimp tubes from them. I have one of these, I think this might be Beadalon. It's one of the tags or a connector for the toggle, or not the toggle, for the lobster clasp, so that I'm not attaching an open jump ring. I don't like open jump rings, and so especially to connect. So I wanted to find something that would be able to not be an open jump ring, but then also do have some good security to it. So I'm also going to use just a regular lobster clasp. Always test your lobster clasps. I'm also going to be using some wire guardians because I want to protect this precious wire, and also to want to extend the life of the bracelet. When you're using wire guardians, you also want to make sure that they are going to fit into the piece that you are going to be linking them to. And so they do go through that little connector, and also to make sure that they're going to go through if you're going to attach directly to a lobster clasp. I do not like attaching directly to a lobster clasp, and here's why. If the lobster clasp breaks, then or starts to malfunction, then you have to take the entire bracelet apart. However, though, if you use a jump ring, then you reduce that, you take that out of the equation, which I don't have my jump ring here, so hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, thank you. I did grab a jump ring. I apologize. I'm preparing for a live, and so I want to be able to have all my desk cleared out, but I just had to bust into these beads. They are so gorgeous. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to work from the spool, because I don't know how many beads I'm going to need. I don't know how long I need to make this bracelet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just pop those out of the tray and pop those out of the tray. Again, you get a set of 3 with this month's box. All right, so let's go ahead, and it looks like I have a little something else in there. Oh, a little piece of plastic. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of these little cute seed beads, and then one of the little 2mm, and like that, like so. And then I think I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth with them, because it brings in that pop of color. I love having this seed bead, this white seed bead, because it's really super pretty. Okay, so the last one I did was a small, so let's do a big. I mean, they are stunners. Look at those. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so then we go little, and I am just going to keep on stringing, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep you here while I'm doing this. And what I'm going to do is I am going to talk about Potomac Beads. I'm going to talk about their subscription, which these beads are a part of, and also their kit edition subscription that they also have. So this is a monthly subscription, and you can sign up month by month, and month by month is $39.99. And you can also go up as far as being an annual subscriber. And when you become an annual subscriber, then that breaks down to be at least, because the cost goes down, it breaks down to being $29.99 per month. Now, I will also include all of my past unboxings for this Treasure Edition. I don't have the kit edition. My friend does. My friend Vicky has it, and she loves it. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I'm doing my pattern right. Just every once in a while, just check and make sure that your pattern is coming out right. And I love this. This is so pretty. However, though, what I'm going to do is I want to see what it would look like with having 2 of these beads in a row, the small beads in a row. So then I'm only getting a pop of the larger bead. So I'm just going to go ahead and just take a little peek at that first and see. So if you see that I'm not doing the right pattern, this is why. I thought, oh, I wonder how it would look if I just did a little bit of a pop. Ooh, I kind of like the pop. Okay, so yep, we're gonna undo. And I have stuff falling down because I decided that I was going to turn on my fan on full blast, and that's what I did. All right, so I have papers flying. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna kind of start this over a little bit. And I thought of maybe even putting a couple of seed beads in between. And what I was thinking of doing was adding some dangles, but I don't want the dangles to take away from the actual bead. And so these gorgeous beads, so I don't want any dangles. Yes, I could do dangles with the beads. You are absolutely correct. But I don't think I want to. Oh yeah, nope, this is it right here. That is so pretty. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be needing those these small 2 millimeters later. Actually, I take that back because I did something the other night. So when I first got the box, so here's the deal. I'm gonna back up a little bit. When I get the box and I record it the day that I get it. However, though, I don't post it until after I see Allie has done her, Allie from Potomac, that she's done her unboxing. I don't want to ruin her surprise or show this box off before she has a chance to. You know, it's her box. It's Allie's box. So I want to be able to give her that opportunity. So I will wait until I see her unboxing. This is really, really bad. I should be able to do this a little bit better. So I do try to wait until after I see her do her unboxing. So what happens is I open the box and then I don't want to put it away. And so I will just start designing. And when I recorded it, I believe it was pretty late at night, or maybe I was alone, which is not often, but I started doing a little bit something with the Tila beads. Tila beads, however they need to be pronounced. They're the 2 hole beads. And I think I did one project with them before, and probably not the conventional way, in the conventional manner. And I don't know if there is a conventional manner, but I don't think I did it with I can't remember now. But what I did was I saw those beads, and they're just such a gorgeous color. And all the colors in this box do go super well together. And I'm going to show you a few of the beads that I have put together to be doing some projects with. And one of them is already sort of halfway done. And when I say halfway done, I did a pair of earrings, and I don't know if anybody's going to want to see how I made them. I'm not a seed beading expert. I will leave all the seed beading up to Allie. And I, like I said, I'm not a seed beading expert, so I don't even know if I did it properly or with the right technique. but I did make an attempt at a pair of earrings. I did one. The reason why I only did one was, I'm going to show it to you, and if you want to see how I did it, I will recreate it. I'll try to recreate it. It took me a while. And the reason why it took me a while is because, like I said, I'm not a seed beader. I don't know how patterns work with those beads, right? So then I just started going forward, and I just went with my own little, this keeps on getting moved. I'm so sorry if I'm off-centered. I just kept on going and didn't know if I was doing it right or not, but I came up with a way. And believe me, I came in, I took it apart, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times. I took it apart just to try and get all of the sizing right and all of the spacing right. I should say spacing too. So I'm going to show that to you after we're done with this. But this is just absolutely stunning. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I don't know how long I want to make it. When I think about this, so you kind of, when you're determining how long you want to make your piece, you have to take into consideration all this other stuff here. And I'm going to take out my crimp tubes too, because that adds, what, 4 millimeters of length, and 4 millimeters can determine, make or break, whether something's going to fit or not. All right, so let's break out the Fandy Dandy tape measure. So I'm going to say 1.5 inches. And so if I say 1.5 inches for all of this component here, and if I want a 6.5 or 6 3/4 bracelet, then I need to make this about 5 1/4. Now, does that mean that I measure out like this and say, that's 6? No, that just means I need to put it on my Fandy Dandy, which I'm looking for it right now. There it is, my Fandy Dandy bracelet measuring tool, which is so not Fandy Dandy, but it's just something I got off the internet, put it around, made it a cone. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this last bead here. And I do, you saw me measure out, and I do this often just because it gives me a rough idea. However, though, these beads take up a little bit of that real estate. So I am just going to go ahead and put it on my measuring tool here. And I want it to be about 5 1/4. And when I do that, I can see that it's a little long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off one of the tinies and a seed bead. So then I'm going to be a little bit off pattern, but that's okay. That's okay, and I actually kind of like that a little bit better. And then what I'm going to do, it looks like I have a little bit of a kink in my wire there. Let's see if it comes out. You might not be able to tell. No, you might not be able to tell. All right, so we are done with these guys, and I will be able to use them in another project. And again, I will share some of that with you. So let's go ahead and put those off to the side. Let's try and get a little centered here. I am going to need some standard crimping tools. I'm gonna need some cutters. I'm gonna use bent chain nose pliers. I like to use those on my jump rings, and also some chain nose pliers. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread on my 2x2 crimp tube first, okay? Then I'm gonna go ahead and add my wire guardian. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back through. So the wire guardian is super cool. It almost is like 2 crimp tubes with a nice little canal or little groove here for your wire to sit in. You want to make sure your wire is sitting in that little groove and not sticking out. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and add my end of my little loopy loop. and I know that it fits on there because we tested that out, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and pass that back through. Okay. All right, so when I do this and I look and I go, "Oh, I don't want this flapping around down in here. I want to bring those ends of my wire guardians closer together. Plus, that takes up a little bit of the bracelet real estate. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring that down, just like so. And I am going to go into that first groove of the standard crimping tool because it's a little rounded, and I'm just gonna bring those two together. And that's pretty, that adds a little bit more. This isn't gonna be bouncing around down on my wire. That's what I don't want. I do not want that metal bouncing around on my wire. This is incredible wire, but I still don't want it bouncing around. All right, so let's go ahead and put this in the back groove. So I have it in the back groove. My wires are separated, and when I crimp down, it separates. One wire goes on one side, the other wire goes on the other. Well, now we need to round it out and finish it off. So we're gonna go ahead and just give it another little squeeze. And so when we do that, we get this. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and trim off that end. Now, if I had a large bead, I might pass it through maybe one bead, just so that when I bring my bracelet up, which I need to remember to pull those off, those extras off, it sits a little bit more centered, and that's why I like to do that. But you can just kind of finagle it and get that seed bead to sit on there centered. But that's the only reason why I like to do it. All right, so now let's go ahead and trim off a little bit here. And I leave a couple inches. I don't like waste, so here's a little bit of waste here. I need to pull off those extra beads. Something that I normally do is when I pull something from one side, I will leave what I pull off on the mat rather than putting it all away like I did here. I didn't do it this time because I was too busy talking. Isn't that stunning? Oh, that's so pretty. Now, I don't need to worry about, oh, I need my crimp tube first. I don't need to worry about putting my, adding my jump ring to this on this side because it's an open jump ring for the lobster clasp. And I promise my nails are not dirty. I've been working on other stuff and I have been staining my hands with mica powders and just a bunch of stuff. So they're not dirty, I promise. All right, so let's go here. And again, see how that's all sticking out right there? I don't want my jump ring to be roaming around in that area. So I'm just gonna come in that top groove, I don't know if you can see it, top groove, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a squeeze. And the reason why is because it's a little rounded in there. I feel like I'm not distorting my bracelet. All right, then I don't want it to be super tight, but this is a bracelet, so it's a little different than a necklace where the necklace will be all stiff. I'm okay with this being a little stiff because, like I said, it is a bracelet. It's gonna be on your arm. But I do want that, I want that wire to sit in the groove, and it's not sitting in the groove, and it's probably just because I don't have it all nice and tightened up. I don't want my wires crossing, so I'm just gonna go ahead and to help me maneuver through, and that's another reason why I like to pass it through one bead. I feel like I have more room. So now I have it just like so, have them separated, and then give it that squeeze, and then come in on the top notch and give it a squeeze, give it that tug test. It's not going anywhere. And then I'm gonna come in with my cutters, and I have a little more waste than I normally have, but I'm also not struggling with the ends there. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and open up our jump ring. And after we open our jump ring, we are gonna go ahead and add our clasp. Why do we add an open jump ring to our lobster clasp? Because if my lobster clasp breaks. That is gorgeous. Now, if you wanna add, it's a little twisted, so let me go ahead and get that like that. Now, if you wanna add extender chain, you can add extender chain. You can add an extender chain even on this closed ring, but let's see what size I ended up with. I ended up with 6.5, and that's okay. So maybe I could have done maybe, it might have been a little lopsided, but I actually like this. This is gonna work for me because 6.5 is kind of where I'm at here. But like this one here is more like 7, and I do that so that all of my bracelets are not sitting on top of each other, right? So I'll do them at different lengths. So this is gonna go on very nicely. Very super duper cute colors. I love how how did I come up with super duper? I don't think I've ever said super duper in my entire life until now. But so we have this all made up. This is our first project using the Potomac Beads Treasure Edition. Okay, I want to show you something else. I put together these, and I'm using those Tila beads, and then also using some of those little 2mm Czech glass, and then also some of those 11-0 seed beads, and I came up with this. And all I did was I formed this first one around, and then I was like, well, how many beads should I do? 2 and then 3. I thought of doing 2 and then 3 here, but then I thought, no, I kind of like having the space, the air in between. And then I didn't know how I was going to finish it off, because I was like, okay, so now how am I going to get a hook on there? And I just kept on going round and round and reinforcing and making my turns, and this is what I came up with. So if you like this and would like to see how I did this, drop me a line in the comments, and we will go ahead and make that happen. Let me show you a couple of the other combinations that I have for what's coming up next. I have these little 4mm Czech rounds, these little flower cut beads, and some of these Czech smooth rounds. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna make a cluster bracelet. I'm gonna take some chain and just start wire wrapping. I love these flowers, and I feel like I wanna use all of them up right now on something like that. Or very easily, you can just simply, if you're not a wire wrapper, that's okay. I mean, you could do simple loops too, but you can just very easily, when you put them on your bracelet, just stack them on top of each other like that too. And that's super pretty, and that is an option as well. It just depends on the day and how I feel. But actually, I kind of like that. That's actually kind of pretty. And then I stick with kind of the simple stringing projects for this month. I kind of like that. Okay, so you might see me do that. Totally different than what I thought I would be doing. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put those 3 items together. I did have more of, so I used 6 there. So if I use 6 there, I might end up with, let's see, so if I use 6 there, I'll end up with 7. And then I love these rondelles. They are so, so, so pretty. So I'm gonna be using some of those and likely some of those seed beads in between. Right? Then I also have these guys. I have these gorgeous, gorgeous cubes, and 4mm. These are 4mm amethyst, and I just think they look absolutely gorgeous with them. And I'm thinking of making a simple pair of earrings with those. Then we cannot forget about the petals. I love these petals, and I've been playing around and messing around with what size loop I need to have, or what size jump ring I need to have if I'm going to be just putting these, I thought of just attaching them onto chain and just having them all dangle. And I thought that would be kind of cute. So that might be something that we're gonna do with those. So pretty. So there are some, oh, and we can't forget the pinch beads. These are so pretty. Look how pretty. I originally had pinch beads with the seed beads and these guys, but I felt like these guys didn't poke out as much, and I wanted these guys, the 5mm, I wanted them to poke out, and this was what I came up with to poke out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave you now. Be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up if you like it. Also comment, I'd love to see what everybody has to say. And subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And until next time, have a good one.